is an arcade-only rhythm game developed by Sega that has captured my interest for quite a bit, and more specifically, its lore. Its lore has been super interesting to me, considering that since it's only in the arcade and is usually shown to be a more free-play-esque game, I was curious as to what the correlation between the characters were, and how to make sense of their roles and their supposed quote-unquote story. So I tried gathering as much information I could from the maimai fandom wiki and the Sega fandom wiki, although it did seem a bit biased in some of its descriptions. So without further ado, here are my compiled descriptions of the 6 main characters of maimai. Starting off from the youngest character and working our way up to the oldest is Milk, who is 10 years old. Milk has been a partner since maimai finale, although her debut was in the music video for Oshama Scramble. Her whole shtick is basically wanting to be more grown up, and it's shown through idolizing Shama, who is her partner and affiliate, considering they're both a part of Oshama Milk. This is evident through her quote on the official maimai page talking about how she wants to be more like an adult, and in her debut music video. In Oshama Scramble, she does everything in her power to grow into an adult like Shama, showing this transition in the form of her chibi becoming a 3D model reminiscent of hers, through her working out to achieve a similar build. Next is Salt, who is 12 years old. Salt has been a partner since the maimai DX series, but she debuted in maimai Milk, which is not to be confused with the character Milk. And a lot of the other characters debuted in maimai Milk as well, since they're all a part of Cafe Milk. When Salt was younger, she was given a doll, Dondi Don, by her grandfather, who would gain consciousness after his passing and travel the world with Salt in search of the critically acclaimed Phantasmic Blue Wheat Flower, which would be a reward in the Great Harvest Festival. In order to be able to participate in said festival, Salt needed an affiliation, and one that was calling to her name was Cafe Milk, the cafe that most of the other characters were a part of, who also debuted in maimai Milk. Salt dedicated a decent amount of time towards convincing Rasu to allow her to work at Cafe Milk in order to ensure her participation in the festival. Salt is considered a valuable asset to the cafe because all the bread dough she needs is extremely soft and fluffy. Her name is supposed to represent being a core ingredient in the group, as salt and bread making allows for a flavorful treat rather than one that is dull and bland. Next up is my favorite of the bunch, Razu, who is 15 years old with her name inspired by raspberries, a key component of many flavorful treats and pastries. She became obtainable in maimai DX and debuted in maimai Milk, which is true for every other Cafe Milk character. Razu tends to be very scatterbrained and clumsy, but she still keeps her head high up and is dedicated to her craft, acting as the heart and leader of Cafe Milk. Razu opened the cafe due to her interest in the concept of a phantasmal menu of a witch's cafe, which was a daydream of hers since she was very young. Chiffon is her childhood friend, whom she met after sneaking into the garden of her wealthy parents' house. She also has a strange apron that can, apparently, produce anything, according to the maimai fandom wiki. Speaking of chiffon, she is next on our list, who is 16 years old, my age, and chiffon is a term for desserts made with beaten eggs that produce a light consistency, similar to the silk chiffon. Chiffon also, again, became obtainable in maimai DX and debuted in maimai Milk. Chiffon is a part of an upper-middle-class family, with her wealth correlating to her scouting to be the pastry chef of Cafe Milk. Her interest in baking sweets sparked from the pastries Razu would sneak into her family's garden. As is quoted on the maimai wiki, when Chiffon heard that Razu was going to open a cafe, she dropped everything in order to prioritize her focus in the project. And it's kind of sad considering the fact that her family, did not approve of her becoming a pastry chef, but she became one anyway, so that's awesome, good for her. And she was known by the aristocrats, in her area for her pastry making classes and recipe books. Then there's Shama, who's 18 years old. We are now in the adult stages. She is the partner alongside Milk of Oshama Milk and debuted in Oshama Scramble and has been a partner since maimai finale. There isn't much to say about her because I really couldn't find much other than the fact that she's idolized by Milk. I guess she's very admirable, and it is said that she's also an idol, which makes sense due to her admirability. The last of the 6 girls is Otohime, who's very elusive, especially on the wiki, with her quote being, "Welcome everyone." Not much is known about her. She is 10,015 years old. She's also a master of dance and is reportedly poor. Well, not necessarily poor, but it can be inferred that she's a gambler, considering the fact that she tends to spend all of her mai zennies very quickly. She opened a Ryuju tea house near Cafe Milk in order to gain more money, and also applied for a high-paying part-time job in maimai DX Circle, when she was also, again, running low on mai zenny. She did not want Kame to find out. Now, who is Kame? There isn't much information relayed about Kame other than the fact that they're apparently Otohime's tutor, and there are very few images of them that exist online. Apparently, Tai is also a relative of Otohime, but there is no information about Tai! So, to sum things up, there's Cafe Milk, there's Oshama Milk, and there's whatever the hell Otohime is doing, because she is a gambler. And those are the 6 main girls of maimai! And few others that are mentioned, but not really expanded upon.